Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. This is Connor. Welcome back with more Islanders New Shores. Now, let's talk about cliff houses. So just ignore my rerolls, ignore my score, ignore my sealed boons. Those have nothing to do with what I'm currently talking about. But let's talk about cliff houses. So I have been a cliff house denier from the beginning, from the demo onward. In my high score run, which I've completed pre-release, I never unlocked the cliff house intentionally. I avoided it. I think they are the worst common building, and so polluting your building unlock pool with a bad common building was not something that I was interested in. I think most of the unlock buildings, things like the terrace, which I got this from my first boon on this island, those are awesome. Those are powerful. In general, they're really high scoring. Like, if you just keep getting pyres, that's going to be a good island, right? You can give me 20 pyres on an island that I would still be thrilled. Um, Cliff House is not as much. And there are certainly people who disagree with me. There are a lot of people advocating for cliff houses, and there are some really appealing things about them. So they don't take up ground space, which is lovely. They do take up wall space, and they will block things like wall platforms, but you can plan around that, obviously. They can be extremely small. Like, there is one cliff house variant that is like a single cube, and even the ones that are two cubes stacked on top of each other or horizontally are small, so you can cram a lot into a tight space, and they score off of each other. So you can make a more compact cliff house cliff house chunk, than you would be able to make with normal houses or mansions. And we're kind of thinking too long. We're kind of comparing against houses, mansions, and parks here, right? Because you can't take those out of the pool. Those are just default buildings, and those are the three other most common buildings, I believe. So when we look at the buildings that actually reward points to the cliff house and compare them to the mansion, for example, you will see that these numbers are much lower for the cliff house. They are more comparable in that sense, the +4 from City Center, the +3 from Shaman, to a house, which gets 6 and 5, a little bit lower values. So, because these point values are lower, I have always labored under the assumption that cliff houses are going to be lower scoring overall. They're also not especially favored among other advanced buildings. So, something like a tower or a mountain shrine, like, yes, those are going to score cliff houses, and that is good, but they would also score mansions, right? I think offhand, I don't remember if mountain shrines score houses. They might not, but temple or towers certainly do. And when it comes to the matter of the temple, which is a big focus of my high score strategy, cliff houses provide, I think, 4 points each to the temple versus the 8 of a house or the 10 of a mansion. So the points that they generate themselves look lower to me. Like, when I look at these numerical values, they are literally just lower. And additionally, the points that they reward to other buildings seem to be lower when I appraise other buildings. None of these really count, but now there is another downside to cliff houses. They disagree with masons. So masons receive -2 for each cliff house. Cliff houses receive -3 for each mason, which kind of necessitates splitting them, because if you're already only getting 16 points or something, getting a further -3 on that is a noticeable difference, right? So, why could I be wrong about cliff houses? Well, like I said, they are more compact. And so I have decided, through the course of an island, you're going to place a bunch of really good mansions, right? Once I get the long one to reach in here, that'll be like a 23 or something. And even this one, right, just tagging two structures can pretty easily be like a 16, 17, whatever. I've placed two structures over here for a cliff house, and I'm still at 12, which is a lot less than 17. And it sounds like, oh, it's just 4 points, who cares? But remember, it's a common building. So really, it's 4 multiplied by how many times you get these buildings across the course of the island. But you also place some bad mansions and houses on every island. You're going to, at the end of the island, or maybe sort of in the mid game when you don't have enough wall platforms yet, you're going to place some of these structures for 15 points each. You're going to place them for 12 points. I have certainly placed 8-point mansions. I've placed 2-point mansions. So if cliff houses are more of like a median building. Like, no, maybe they don't as often or as quickly get you to those like 40 and 50 point houses that I can get with really dense wall platform stacks. Oh, and this wall platform was my like initial island boon, the one that came with this island choice. Um, Maybe I can't reach those heights as easily, but maybe they are more consistent and they do not underperform in the late game or the mid game as much as the houses and mansions sometimes do. So that's kind of the theory that I am proceeding under in order to justify cliff houses being good. Again, I am entering this video as a skeptic. I am entering with the position that they are not good, or not. When I say good, they're a lot of fun. They're really pretty. I just don't think they are high scoring, which is primarily what I'm interested in. But I do want to give them a fair shake because I think there is untapped strategic potential all throughout this game. I think that there's still so much that I can improve at, and certainly the leaderboard is climbing. Like, these people, have finished their first run, but we've got Solace in the middle of a run, relatively close to my score. And I certainly assume that my score will be passed by someone who's discovering tech I haven't found yet. So I'm trying to turn over every rock, and in that spirit, I'm working on cliff houses today. Now, how am I going to delineate, or I guess, let me rephrase. I need cliff houses to work without ruining the rest of my island. So I still need to have like a high value temple, high value houses and mansions, because those are things that I currently am unwilling to sacrifice. Even if you have cliff houses in the pool, you're still getting a bunch of the other common buildings. They still have to be good. So how can I invest in cliff houses without pulling from those other pools? And when I look at this list of buildings here, what stands out to me are the lighthouse, the sauna, and the circus. So lighthouses are typically not a building that generates very much score once placed for me, but that's 4 points on every cliff house. Additionally, saunas are buildings that I typically just place like way out away from my city, wherever my lumber is. But with a little more strategic thinking about where I was going to build initially, I think that I can put saunas, inland here, tagging all these trees, inland here, tagging these trees in my lumber, maybe something like that, to get a couple saunas in this area as well. And then, of course, because I've vergered this area and because it is a tight little corner, a shaman is really going to love this spot as well. So I've already committed a city center over here. I've already committed my lighthouse. I'm going to put a shaman in there. We're going to do everything we can to invest in these cliff houses and see if I think what I earn out of them is worth the sunk cost. I guess it's really unfair for me to phrase it like the sunk cost when it is just the cost I have spent. Like, it's the spent cost, I guess. So because of my initial statue placement on this island, I was kind of thinking I would wall platform off of this, but the more I look at it, the more concerned I am that it won't even reach. So maybe I need to leave this terrace. And if that's the way of things, then I can just place it right here, maybe, or like right here to take out some of this lower value ground, and that should still be close enough. This is like not a great island for normal houses and mansions, which also makes it a good one to explore using cliff houses, because I need to get my point somewhere, right? But yeah, this island, although relatively large and relatively flat, it has all this like little broken up terrain that is essentially unbuildable. Like, when I see this, my brain just immediately deletes it from my consideration. It's not large enough to do anything with. But cliff houses don't take up space. So we will see. We will see how they do. I think on the premise that houses will end up over here, I'm going to play that. And then I think just this. I think the temple on top of this will still be able to... Well, okay, so another argument for here is that I can get more contact around the sides of the building rather than placing it here, where I've already used some of these spots, and some of this down here is not going to be as valuable. Like, this occupies more valuable space, but it may also create more valuable space. So, yeah, I think I talked myself into it. Gonna hold on to the cliff houses for now. As with other buildings, I think their value will go up over time, and if I want to give them a fair shot, I need to play them as though I think they are high scoring. So in service of that, I will continue to hold them. I'm at the very tail end of a sickness, so if you hear a little twinge in my voice, perhaps that is what you are hearing. But I'm feeling much better. Really feels like it should be possible to get 2 good mansions in here. I mean, I can get 2 fine mansions, but... yeah, let's do it this way. And then I still have this at some point, and yeah, a bunch of different shapes will fit in here. A square would fit, but probably not tag stuff, so maybe that would have been a reason to move this a little, but... there's the shaman. Okay, so now the question is, do I wait for sauna to actually start placing here? And I think I don't, specifically because cliffhouses do not have a huge detection. It's relatively large. I mean, if you compare it to the house and the mansion, I think it's in between the two. We could probably do some semi-scientific testing by squaring up the center line here, but yeah, cleanly between the two. But because the detection's relatively small, like I'm not getting a sauna here. Saunas have to connect to the water, so it's going to be like here or here, sloping down this way. And this actually might be too inland for the sauna, but one thing people have been pointing out to me is that you can tag cliff houses on both sides of a wall. And so in order to utilize that, I wanted to get this corner for my shamans. I wanted to get all these wall surfaces. I think this whole thing is going to be covered in cliff houses by the end, so I needed a lot of terrain, simply put. But now that I have all this, I think we could start cliffhousing. And I think the first cliffhouse being an 18 is totally respectable. 18 is a score that I am pleased to get at this stage of the game with a traditional house or mansion. Not astounding, but not bad. And lots of this isn't placeable for reasons that I don't fully understand yet. Part of this, obviously, is that I need to learn more about how to utilize cliff houses. So please be patient with me as I learn them. I know most people have already been playing with these guys, but I skipped them for as long as I could. I'm also going to end up putting a circus over here. I didn't really talk about that yet, but circuses are a building that I habitually fail to make good placements for, and so if cliff houses allows me to do that without compromising the rest of my tactics, that seems valuable. Did I put these shamans 2 in the corner? Am I going to already need to start tag and backside? I mean, as much as I like tag and backside, I did get all 3 buildings there. That was a pretty good detect through. Please don't demonetize this video, YouTube. I probably should have left a little air gap in between these buildings and the wall, but can't take it back now. And maybe you wouldn't be able to on every island. Like we can't just play for best case, you know? That being said, all of these worth 23 points is... I am seeing the numbers. I am aware that these are good scores. No, I can't get any triple tags back here either. Yeah, I think these two not being quite on the same horizontal plane and both being flat on the wall was probably a mistake. But if they're not flat on the wall, they'd be a lot harder to tag through it, so pick your poison. Yeah, I mean, so far, scoring pretty well. We'll see what else I can squeeze in there, but I should be getting a lot of cliff houses. They are quite common. There's another. Go back to this well. Yeah. Where is all this score coming? I guess for some reason this shape I was able to clip in a little bit further and tag that shaman. That's good. And getting the double shaman off the start is a little bit lucky in Cliffhouse's favor, but not extremely. It's not like a outlandish occurrence. Got some 19s. The 21 because it tags this very distant fishing spot. And I'm already grouping industry for an eventual warehouse. Similarly, all of these being at one spot is really going to help the houses that I place over here. Haven't thought much about my plateau, but maybe just right here, maybe right here if it'll allow it. Probably won't. Okay, so with 15 points to go, I could just place another mansion, but I guess I want to start thinking about my lumberjacks. So if I need my saunas to be sunk in right here or up here, because I might be building pretty far over this way. This is not a fair test, but I don't think this stuff is going to tag very much, maybe this far. And then if I had a sauna like here, it would work. But I guess I need to think about this sauna primarily. And that sauna is going to extend this way through all these trees. But I might be able to tag lumberjacks here, just with like the initial back end of the bulb. Let's try that. Oh, and I guess I'm on island 15, so that matters quite a bit for thinking about how things are scaling and how many buildings I'll get and whatnot. Like, this is not an early island. This should give me an in-game number of buildings. I spaced this one by eye with nothing to judge it, so got it pretty close. And with my lumberjacks down, I could pyre. I guess I kind of hid that city center in a way that's going to be bad for pyre, since they do need actual line of sight. And this one's blocked by by the terrace. That's pretty funny. Okay, well, out here is good. And pyres and cliffhouses don't get along, which is a weird choice because they both go on cliffs, but obviously out here it's not going to be a problem, and up here is not good, so no conflict there. Next, lumberjack. Probably prefer to be over here. The 16 doesn't take out trees, though. Also does not get me buildings. That's going to be really good once I finish filling this area. So I could leave it for now. Lots of pretty goods. I remember there is this slide in, but unless I can also get that wall platform, I would rather take the other twist of L. That does mean I can do this, though. Yeah, there we go. Perfect fit. And I'm not going to bother deleting that. You should, it's better play. But, ooh, okay. So, do we think this temple would tag that statue? Probably. It's close, though. Well, it tags this mansion. Cool. And I don't need to place that. I could unlock buildings. It's just not gonna impact things. Saving us all a little bit of time with some shortcuts here, since this is not actually a high score run. I'm not actually competing with this one. I'm just beating the islands as I come to them, recording some content on the way. No, I'd really prefer a double before I place that. I did think about where my lighthouse was going to be when I placed these, and I thought about where my fish spots were when I placed these as well. So this all formed kind of a chain, which lets me get a pretty good harbor in here. Angling back towards the land. It is so silly that because the harbor extends more forward and kind of mounts on the back, you frequently want to point them towards your city, which is like not, I think, how harbors work, right? I mean, the boat would depart the other direction, but realism is obviously not the primary goal. I mean, this is not bad. I don't love killing that fishing spot. It doesn't seem like a huge deal, but it's 3 points now. It's 1 point on every dock. It's 2 points on every fisher. It adds up. So maybe we just take a 28 that doesn't kill it instead of a 36, I think I saw it previously that does. Yeah. 34 here could be. Yeah, that's best of both worlds. We'll take that. Not an ideal not an ideal disembarking location for these poor boats, exiting the gate directly into some shipwreck. Yeah. So it's letting me clip just to the edge here, but then something is catching me up. Maybe just the height difference. And there is a bold play of just placing it here. I think I like that, actually. I think it creates so much high-value space versus the terrain that's there currently. I don't love killing the trees, especially because water platforms might end up over here, but I think it's a excellent trade. And can I get 100 points without placing it? I don't think so. I was considering saving it because another mason would be an easy payoff, but I don't think I have quite enough points in my other buildings. So here we are. Well, this goes first. Need to be actually more intentional with it, because right now, if we imagine a sauna right here, a warehouse right here would be pretty good. So like taking up that warehouse spot just to get 8 points is not worthwhile. I could go here instead, but then I'm nervous about blocking the sauna. It doesn't look like it would, but it would be bad enough if I did. Now that 14 likely will not be in the sauna, but I think that's a trade-off I can take. It'd just be such a disaster to not be able to fully utilize cliffhouses. I'm so committed to the cliffhouse life now. Yeah, sure enough, they're a common building. And we're still getting like 19s. So for frame of reference, my houses are 19, 21, 19. My mansions are like 17, 17. Over here, you might have like a single 23 or something. Yeah. So, comparable. Worse than the houses, but similar in score to the mansions. And remember that I do expect cliffhouses to be less of a benefit to other buildings. And these little guys can really go anywhere. Like that spot down there, I would not have expected to work. 27's good, though. As always, Wheatfield has become a very powerful building. They start out slow, but by the end of the island, they have ramped up in value. Okay, this is deranged. I do not understand which parts of these buildings are and are not solid. Because, like, this dock looks like nothing on the front end is solid. But some of them have an entire pier sticking out there. I guess it's kind of like the Tetris that you can play with differently shaped buildings elsewhere. I just wasn't expecting the differences between the docks to be this significant. It'd be like if one version of a building was just like a quarter the size. And minimal impact would be the seaweed field. I think I can do one park safely. Wonder if I should have placed this before the wall houses. Do they care about parks? Cliff houses, pardon. Let's start with the worst placement. Okay, now I get the sauna down. And how far in can I go? Not where I thought. I thought you could just kind of... I guess they have to be on a cliff to scale up. You know, that makes a simple kind of sense. Okay, so building cliff houses where you can get a sauna is a different challenge than I initially thought. Well, I think right now it's kind of transparent that my cliff houses won't be tagging it. Maybe eventually I'll end up cliff housing over on this edge, and then this will be valuable. But at least for right now, I guess I need to scrap the sauna idea and just play whatever 65 I can find here. Looking at my buildings, I think I do want to place this. Well, I don't know. Another verger or another lumberjack could go well. Let's do other things first. And if I'm waiting for a lumberjack, maybe it is mansion time. I have that one cliff house to place too, but I'll get around to it. Yeah, okay, so see, here's one of these like mid-value mansions that I've talked about. So 11 points, not a great score. Certainly worse than I could get with some of these cliff houses. But we do have to consider what else will be placed in this area and how they will score off of the mansion. So it's not as cut and dry as just, oh, 11 is smaller than 20. But I'm not going to dispute that I have seen good scores from cliff houses so far on this island. They have been helpful. Yeah, don't want to take away that space yet. This is the mansion issue. They have such small detection. Pretty quickly they... Oh, this was a spot I was considering for a fountain, but this is just as good. They have such small detection that pretty quickly you run out of good mansions. You need to get wall platforms to start redeeming this full stash. Okay, so... I could do like both parks in the cliff house, or maybe just one park and one cliff house. I mean, like a bunch of 20s, a 23, these are fine. These are good buildings. So far they have been very convincing. I'm always a little picky with parks because I don't want to take up a spot that a square park might take. Like, placing parks that don't kill trees is so important, and the line parks are good for finding those weird little diagonal tiny spots that only a line park could possibly use, like that. Versus over here, might fit a square? Nah, not quite. Okay, so it was all moot, but worth considering. I am now suffering from the same issue that I have with houses and mansions normally, which is every single time that I grab one, I'm like, I really hope you're the small shape. I really hope you're the smallest version of this building. I need to compact you. The shapes impact detection more than I expected. Like, not just placement. That's wild work. That's a lot of cliff house not on a cliff. I would typically hold hut. I mean, I started this building pivot to not have to place these hoping for a lumberjack, so maybe I go one more round on lumberjack. I do want to see what this boon is. That should be easily achieved. Okay. Well, I could go for increase area and just try and get like a huge value circus here. Let's do that. I don't think it's as powerful as level up, but I think it is more interesting. So fewer points, more fun. Not my typical playstyle. That might be bad, actually, because I had that line park before that fit pretty well. Why does scooting closer preserve the tree? Okay, but there it jumped and killed the tree. This is strange. There are some placements here, like this, where the tree is fine, but then it jumps and kills it. And that jumps forward, yep. Well, I've placed it now, so no takebacks. Seventeen's pretty good. And yeah. I thought some clipping would be possible here. This looks pretty good, especially if I assume that most of this plateau is going to be houses anyway. Since houses are directionally agnostic and have plenty of detection radius. I just have to find that 43 again. I thought for sure that was going to be it. It shifted in so far. Yep. The 40 is just getting squared up right against this wall. The 43 comes from the top left corner of my detection, reaching that next building. Duh. It must be a matter of like millimeters. Well, this isn't a high score island anyway. We'll take the 40. I am generally going to play this island hard because I do want to see like a real use case. I'm not just throwing for Cliffhouse content, but okay, now I think it's Sauna and Pyre time. Like I held as long as I reasonably could. Did not get lucky, but that is okay. Even like 65 is quite good. I'm not upset with that. '60 is pretty good too. Wonder if there's a slightly better back here. This one I'm a little more concerned about for my Cliffhouse value, but because I am trying to maximize Cliffhouse value. Okay, speaking of, that -4 is not pleasant. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of more what I'm expecting from Cliffhouses, but sadly, I just misunderstood how the saunas would place here, which is, in retrospect, quite obvious, but we are all learning. 4, and then... yeah, that shape's second favorite shape, for sure. The second smallest one, predictably, but... I mean, something like this isn't wild. It does... I placed all of this here to try and make like a hermitage right here even better, or maybe a green wall platform hermitage, but I can still do monuments back here. Maybe this is getting too far away from my monument to be able to tag it, but it is a good score. Points do matter a lot right now. I'll keep it in mind. Remember to stay hydrated, everyone. All right, 123. Now, I know that is an uncommonly large number for my initial fortune teller. So that means I have played fewer buildings than I usually do, which does speak well to the cliffhouses. That's another note in their favor. Looks like, obviously this is most of the buildings I'm holding, but these 7 seaweed fields have me pretty blocked right here. A 4th farm would go a long way towards relieving my point situation. I am tempted to just go ahead and play it. I think it will certainly go up in value if I hold it, but by how much, This is good, I will say. Because they are so compact and the fortune teller gets a point from each, this is going to be a pretty good placement if I leave that open. I could warehouse instead. I mean, warehouse stuff does score in the other direction, so I'm still going to get points from all the warehouse typed buildings. But if I do warehouse, I still need to do like several houses, like 6 or something. No. Yeah, that makes sense that I didn't clip this in all the way to the edge here, so there's not actually 4 units of width here. So I should square up here. No, actually, let's leave a wall along the outer perimeter. Let's place such that a wall is possible. Might end up mattering. Then parks and warehouse. Doesn't seem terrible. Could just do houses. Obviously, I already have a ton of quality in that area, but might get a little bit better if I wait. Basically, my whole playstyle summarized in a phrase. It might get a little better if I wait. That being said, I don't think these spots out here are getting much better, so maybe it's time. All these placements create some dead zone. This one only has to make I think 2 spots worth. Versus this could be placement perfect, but is a lower score, obviously. If I could get the 17 to jump, I would do it, but there's just no way that's gonna auto block. Okay, so next placement is this shape. I think I'll just go elsewhere. I think this square shape is not a good way to efficiently utilize that space, if it wasn't clear what I was discussing there. Alternately, the short detection of mansion pays off again. And I got a great jump there. Like, that was actually pretty useful clipping, how it squared up against this building. I am learning how to use the jump. There is definitely strategy in placing buildings in a sequence that allows you to jump the ones you need into structures. Okay, and just checking. Yeah, okay, I could get the boon. I guess let's go ahead and do that. It's good play. I'm not leaving this down. I'm just letting this big score loop partially fill, at which point it will unlock the boon. I can undo the building, if you haven't seen that tech before. So I could add a statue to all of this here. It'll score well itself, because this is where all my trees are. Again, I think it's weaker than level up, but I think in the spirit of trying the cliff houses, I will do it. Now, where? So, if I place it here, it's not benefiting as many cliff houses. I've already got pretty good coverage on this side. Now, there's still a lot to be done back here. So if I placed it like here, for example, some of my smaller detection buildings won't be able to reach it, but I think, again, in the spirit of cliff housedom, I think that is a sacrifice I'm willing to make, and I think I left enough room to fit cliff houses all the way down that wall. I would certainly hope so. I left a lot of space. Is it just time to place these and assume I'm not getting another city center for a while? No, I think I just go back to this well. I think I still have good houses. Might be out of great mansions, but I really hoped this would be placeable. I think I just narrowly blocked it with that mason, though. Okay, well, we could lower our expectations to a 13, or get similar scores from houses, or play better houses over here. Good to know. Yeah, this is kind of the trouble with this island type. Pretty quickly you run into these situations where it's just like, man, I wish these surfaces were more standardized, flatter, squarer. Sure would create a lot of points if they were. I don't want to kill trees this early, but getting the points out of the parks matters, and is something I would prefer to do earlier. Oh, yeah, we'll take that. I'm only fitting 2 up there anyway. It's a 19, it doesn't kill trees, it's everything I want. Now I could commit here and then do 1 seaweed field. That's like a low impact way to earn the points I need. Play the one least likely to benefit from my next farm. And I guess, in the spirit of Cliffhouse dumb, let's circus. Yeah, I mean, something like this is just not appealing. I guess I had underestimated this possibility. Oh, I really wish. Can I trick it into thinking that one of these little ledges here is a reasonable sauna location? Tricking the game for fun and value. Because I don't think this is within detection of the wall. It's not a bad sauna, so I probably am going to place it anyway, but that just looks like it's too far away from the wall. Maybe. Need to get it as far inland as I can, which is a struggle as well. It doesn't want to... Like, you're telling me this would not be a scenic sauna to attend? I mean, this is the high scoring one. So probably a pretty good, yeah, going the other direction. Well, you know, like I said, it's a pretty good just sauna, and it also might, maybe on the corner here, a couple cliff houses will get it. I'm trying. And expand area on this, gonna be a pretty good score. We'll see. We'll see how many more cliff houses I get. The island is young. Plenty of time left. Looking at my building bar, I think it's either houses or huts, and they're kind of both waiting for the same thing, I guess. Let's just do huts. I don't love my current house placement opportunities. Terrace might change that, though. Yeah, those were good. Good little triple of buildings here. Okay. For the temple. Now we gotta figure this out. Where... That's not bad. It gets bonus points because it's creating buildable ground where there previously was none, not like replacing partially buildable ground with higher value space. Yeah, I mean, I think something in this range, like either here or here, is probably comparable or a little bit stronger. Like this one creates some better houses here, but I'm kind of curious to see how this plays out. So since I am experimenting, we'll do that. I've clipped over this so much that I can no longer place a mansion here, or place a temple here. How do I feel about that? I mean, I guess good. All my masons are over here, so I guess we will proceed. Okay. Okay, so having placed the terrace, what next? Yeah, some of these fissures are pretty compelling. I'll take the more inland one, or I guess more clustered one, would be a better word. Great circus up here. That might be about to change though. It might be house in time. Maybe we house up here. There's also now some better houses down here. Yeah, this made a lot of good space. I'm pleased with this. It does mean that fountain was maybe slightly premature, but I think that is a pretty understandable mistake. And maybe not even a mistake. Like, maybe it's still optimal to play for the likelier outcome. Gonna get total perfect space utilization here, except for this little gap created by the overlap. Wow, this actually might be one of my better... I was really hoping. Man. Aviary is a strange building. The -10s are so brutal and so significant. I guess, okay, yeah, there is 112 here. I mean, that's almost certainly going to be in this round of building plays. Yeah, there we go. We got the sauna. It literally is going to be... I guess if I can place along this little ledge. Nah, it's going to be like 3 or 4 buildings max, but... yeah, I remember there were some little guys in here. I mean, that's a 34-point common building. Like, when my fields got to that score, I was pretty able to accept that they were now a good building. I still feel reluctance about these cliff houses. We'll see how they feel across the whole course of the island. Okay, don't know why that did not work previously and did now. But, like, yeah, these are comparable with my really good mansions over here, and better than, like, this one I just placed, which I've committed 2 structures to. And over here, all I've really committed, the second shaman I would have placed elsewhere, and the city center. So I did pull from house and mansion resources to an extent. Maybe it's a divide and conquer. We'll see. It is unfortunate that once you add cliff houses to your pool, it's not really a, there's no toggle. Like, you can't then opt to not have them on islands where you don't have the building assortment to work with them. You just have them. So, possibly a downside. Is that not... Oh, this is not quite lined up. And now I've placed one too many buildings to retract it. Dang. Well, in that case, I need... That's not going to work either, because this needs to be 3. Meh. Disappointing. Well, I can do this, and then... Yeah, a lot of shapes will fit in here. Maybe the small L will even tag that platform. We'll check. Plateau good, cliff house good. They don't like plateaus. Yeah, I mean... Okay. Lots to think about. Okay, that's fun, but probably not as good as just somewhere over here. If I'm thinking about elevating my score. Yeah, we should take it back. Don't love either of these. I guess... I also don't see either of them really impacting the cliff houses. I guess let's take neighborly. May end up being more valuable. Yeah, I mean, this tracks. I think I need to leave as much space here as I can. Yep, perfect. Just enough room for one. And like, even if I placed everything up against the edges, I would not have been able to fit 3 mansions here. So getting 2 mansions that touch both the score structures I'm watching is a better outcome. I had not forgotten about this little guy. And... yeah, nothing there is any good. Okay. But even up here, I have some pretty good. I mean, the 16, obviously it's lower than what my cliff houses are scoring right now. But I do think it's going to provide more future points to buildings. So I have to think about that as well. Yeah, we like Mountain Shrine. And have I not placed a single house? I haven't. I was about to check and see Mountain Shrine's detection on houses, but yeah, it does like them. Okay. So in the sense that cliff houses are good for Mountain Shrine, that they're kind of not, because they are only equivalent to what you would get for mansions and houses. Obviously, in this particular case, because I put them with my greenery, they're better, but you may not be able to do that on every island shape. They are, however, better for being placed near things like hermitages, because they don't hurt hermitages. They actually do not provide a negative there. And this feels good. Alternately, worse score, better score? The perpetual question of, like, this score is better, but it leaves me with less of the space that I would want to place buildings in, versus, like, over here, similar score, but when am I going to be excited to place a cliff house all the way out here that only tags 1 shaman, right? So some complexities about which of these are best. I think I'm okay with this one. And I'm going to try for the 9, but if it blocks me placing behind it, I need to remove it. Yeah. Can't quite use this tiny little ray restriction spot. That's pretty good. I mean, yeah, we take 29s. 29-point building is pretty good. It's going to be fun if I end up deciding that cliff houses are quite good, to realize that A, I did not have them on my entire high score run, and B, I can then watch this video back and watch myself come to the realization in real time, having been prodded towards it for like a month by everyone else who plays the game. Maybe something good out here with a water platform. That seems like a bit of a cost. Versus out here, I already had, I think 60 was the best I ever saw. Yeah, okay. So what do I want to add to this 60? Well, I can add a pyre. pyres are not great. I guess this one's not bad. It is on somewhat valuable space, but I mean, I guess like a market here or something. This being a 76 point pyre is fine. Also weird that, oh, I guess it's just losing a point elsewhere, gaining a point there. Yeah. So 76 point pyre by counting the points on the guild hall. Not bad. Yeah, okay. Let's do it. And specifically because this ground here was already a little uneven, so probably not losing as much space as it might look like. And I can even still place a market. Love to see it. Okay. Getting 2 markets from the initial draw is kind of wild, though. That is an unlikely outcome. 138. I think that's exactly what it was worth when I first got it, or at least very close. I could do... No, cliffhouse is not going to be worth it over here. Fountain would have to take away the market space. Might be worth a park. Even that is like... This is not detected, of course. I'm just checking scores. Yeah. I don't think this is getting much better. There probably will end up being a warehouse up here at some point. I don't want it to conflict with my temple, but this is where my markets are going. 28 is like a low-scoring warehouse, but so far the shape of this island has not given me much better. I mean, like a 36 in an illegal spot has been the highest I've seen, so okay. Do this into 84. Looking at the rest of my building bar, analyzing. I could do a house. I could just place one random house in and amongst all my mansions. It's not bad. I mean, my circus is not going to be over here. It takes away a good spot from a mansion, but like clearly I'm already out of mansions, so I guess let's place a 20 whatever point house. And I could commit a hut. No, I can't. The huts are terrible. Maybe, I mean, 24. Yeah, 24 is good. Okay. Yup. This is such a strange quirk of the plateau that all of this is real physical geometry. That you can actually see the building butt up against there, but fit into the gap here, and it clips over just a little before meeting this post right here. Like, what an interesting... I don't disagree with it. I think it's interesting. What an interesting design. And now we go Guild Hall. $108. Okay, I can hear, I don't know if you can hear, but I can hear and feel that I'm losing my voice a little bit. So I'm going to take a little break, come back once my vocal cords have rested, resume this island. Okay, hello everyone. You might have just seen some sped up footage. I did not have my microphone configured correctly, but thankfully I noticed before too long. Placed a couple cliff houses, debated a bit over how these buildings should be placed to generate more value. I bargained the city center, but the thing that I talked about that wasn't captured was that, I just watched back my previous footage from the initial chunk of this island, and I can't deny the cliff houses are getting great scores. They're outscoring my mansions, but we do have to remember, like, every mansion that this is tagging is effectively worth 10 extra points, right? And that's not even counting like points gained from the fountain or from towers that end up over here or the 1 point on the aviary, or there's just all sorts of little incidental points that the mansion will be counted on. And I don't think the cliff houses provide as much of that value. They provide some, because I will be getting a really good circus in here, and I typically don't. But even like when we're talking really good circuses, like I'm seeing the absolute ideal being a 54, I've placed 100-point circuses. I have 20 houses. And because every building scores lower on the cliff houses, it takes many cliff houses to get a comparable score. So I don't know yet. We will see what my ultimate feelings end up being. I do like having this because it means I can place it soon and not have to worry as much about leaving a perfect spot for it, but need to leave this up here for the mountain shrine, maybe a circus. This is a darn good fountain, but I would rather fill the remaining mansions up here first, and I haven't been getting very many mansions, understandably. Guess I can do something like that. And I just need to make sure that I still have, my good aviary up there is coming soon. Now I think we do dock, pyre. Yeah, dock and pyre. So my apologies for missing out on some of my discussion there, but it really was just a few minutes. 21. It is interesting how tanking this -7 just kind of doesn't end up mattering, because you get such good scores from the other buildings. This is frequently something that you'll observe where it's like the best and second best of a building just absorb each other's negative score because the best spot is still the best spot, like, even with that offset. Nothing else is close. Okay, a couple other potential buildings to consider for cliff houses. I think at this point I have invested plenty. At this point I've spent 2 shamans, 2 city centers in a bargain, 2 more shamans, a statue, a sauna. The lighthouse kind of is irrelevant. It would have made about this score anywhere. And the sauna was good for its own merit, but yeah, I've spent enough structures over there. I guess the only counter argument, and this is a fairly compelling one, although I am going to take a placement over here just based on how good these scores are. I think it's obvious. The counter argument is that I will just fill this area with houses too, and that there are probably some good 15 to 28 point houses around here, and that's without any, +1s from each other. Like, these will go up a little bit as I place them. But I can't miss out, on something in the 30s over here. I do wonder. I wonder if a single house or mansion is ever going to benefit from that. I guess if I played houses up here, I could, but that does not feel ideal. All right. This sort of sauna feels really worse than playing over here if I was going to play a sauna for negatives. And I think at this stage of the island, I'd rather just play a high-scoring sauna. I think I'm not super concerned with getting more value on the cliff houses. They're already so successful. It's tough, because those two saunas at the top are catching me either way. Man, it really feels like a few of these should be placeable. Like something in this range would be nice. There's a 49. I think that's the highest individual score I've seen so far. Okay, well, I mean, that is appealing for the houses. Maybe pretty soon I'll just place my 20 houses over here. Maybe the real learning from this is like cliff house, sauna, shaman, lighthouse in one area, and then plateau, wall platform, mansion, temple in another area. And if you get them close enough, you could even tower between the two. Probably depends a lot on island shape. But I mean, what doesn't? Like, kind of got to accept that there's that variance. That's just the cost of admission. I think I'm okay with this. It's far enough out, I don't think it'll become a problem for any of the buildings in the area. I mean, I think of the buildings that I have, Parker House looks like the kind of low impact ideal choice. I will need to kill these trees eventually. I just don't have enough green here to place everything anyway, but maybe I'll take kind of a mediocre park on the hope that later it will be better. I mean, that's still a 25. Okay. They're good scores. I can see that. I'm not in denial. I need a couple small mansions. These big ones, I am struggling to find good placements for. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of, like, okay placements, but could go here and give up on putting 2 mansions in this area. Could go here. I think I like this one. 18's a fine score. And now let's go ahead and aviary. I'm missing out on a few points from future mansions, but I guess, does the aviary like fountains? It does. Alright, well, fountain first. Wait, it does like aviaries. 3 points, alright. Aviary first. Feels like there should be a 67, but not quite. I will look at these boons. I may not take it based on the lock. Okay, I actually am fine with duplicate over verger, so. Now, what do I want to duplicate? Do I want third monument? Probably not. Fortune teller does seem to be trending upwards. don't really want a second temple. I mean, maybe it's just like wait for wall platform, and then get a bunch of wall platforms. Doesn't seem unreasonable. Okay, we're going to place a couple of little clusters around here. I'm impressed that that's still 21, that far up. Okay, a couple of green benefits, and then I'm tempted to just score the Hermitage. It's a good score. Clarifies the space around here quite a bit. I won't be able to duplicate it until after Temple, which is late. Sorry, I'm yawning quite a bit today. I hope my combination of muting and noise suppression will handle that. That's probably not a good placement for Fortune Teller value. I might just want to place Fortune Teller to get that off my plate. It's pretty good value now. Obviously, I messed up by placing Verger and the hops field, if that's the case, but I would need to get 85 points in 4 buildings. That does seem achievable. I'll do Fountain to get a lot of the way. But maybe I place the Fortune Teller soon. Maybe we're almost there. Yeah, I mean, 32 is pretty good. Let me actually double check. Yeah, I think I can get similar scores over here. I was thinking this city center did look a little far away, and I was not tagging it, so 37 is better than 32 by a pretty good margin. We'll take a couple of those. Okay, now it's more like 140 points in 6 buildings. I can do it in 5 huts. There was a 37. Just a few huts. Then we get the wall platform. We're already past the lock. Maybe now we just Fortune Teller. Sort of a shrunken circus would have fit there. I'm also tempted to go ahead and like plant this flag here to make sure that I don't take away that space, but looking at my buildings and thinking about what I'm actually excited to play, I think it is Fortune Teller time. Okay, I know this fits. Work with me here. Not bad, not bad. Another city center, of course, after I copied one. Score multiplier right after I place a big building. Not my biggest buildings, though, so. Alright, so I do still have a neighborly if I want to do something like this for big house value. Then fill this whole area with houses. I mean, it's not bad. I guess I do need to consider my updated fisher prioritizations, but seems like these fissures not being as deep in is making a big difference in score. So if I want to be placing over here, I'm trying to think of reasons not to do it this way. Like, I've already placed so many mansions, and I still have some mansionable space over in that zone. So maybe there isn't a good reason. I almost clicked duplicate, repeated my disastrous mansion copy from a previous island. Although copying a city center would be fine. Obviously, I did that intentionally earlier. And yeah, I think that's good. I mean, it's okay on these. I say as I see like a 32. But it's going to be good on the houses in this area as well. Tempted to give this a worse spot just because it's such a large shape, but I think 23 over here feels fine to me. Now, if I place this, I'm creating a whole headache for myself in terms of building underneath it. But if I don't place it, am I going to take those spots? I don't know. I also, looking at how much island is left, I'm actually concerned I won't be fully utilizing this with cliffhouses. So I'm going to take a higher scoring, more intrusive spot just to make sure that some building ends up over here. I think it would be pretty easy to kind of accidentally run out of cliffhouses well before I run out of good cliffhouse spots. Let's double check this sequence. Okay, it is this way. I think clumping these buildings up has pretty minimal value, so I will place them separately. So this can go right there, and now it is sandpit time. Not the most interesting building, but they are reliable. Okay, some good stuff. I've also have never gotten... Oh, I have 2 mills, okay. I was about to say I've never gotten a second mill, but I think I recently got number 2. Now, where on earth is this gonna go? Probably just here. I don't know where else might be a legal placement that would also be intriguing to me. I don't know if I'll build over here much, but if nothing else, it is, you know, placeable. And I mean, if it wasn't for placement restrictions, I'm seeing 50s. There's a lot of points to be had here. I'm seeing the numbers. I might be coming around on cliffhouses. I might have been wrong this whole time, which again is just hilarious. Like, it's gonna send reverberations through my scoring strategy, that's for sure. Then that feels pretty good. I might want to go lower, actually, but That's still good and placeable. I mean, I have 22 houses. That's gonna, once I start breaking into those, it's gonna be a whole different island. That's also probably good. I guess I'll hold it. I could probably hold this one as well. I'm not using it yet. So what don't I hold? I guess sand pit, house. Houses and huts. That's what I should be placing. Okay. All right, let's see if I can fit some wild, like 40-ish point cliff house somewhere around here. All right, placing these in total adjacency with the wall was a mistake. I should have left some room behind them. That said, 46. Kind of disgusting. Like, disgustingly good. All right. Now again, I have committed material over here, and that does have a cost, but I can benefit other buildings in this region as well. Yeah, okay, so that was an intentional jump. I placed that thinking that it would align with, and I can actually show it now that I've seen it works. So this isn't quite far enough over, and I might not be able to place another building up into this little gap here. But because that city center is already down, I can just place it here, and it jumps into alignment and leaves me a nice little square right there. I guess I could demolish the temple? Are we too late in the island for Verger? I don't feel choked up on wall platforms. Not yet, at least. I guess let's go for it. I mean, 29's all right. Not bad, not bad. This island in general, going pretty well. It is nice to have so many buildings committed to a wall, because I feel like despite how late I am in the island, I've got all this space still. Like, it's a big island, but there's still lots of, like, good space, not just functional space. Because again, I have, like, I don't know, 30 buildings or whatever just strapped to this wall, so they're not taking up ground space. I suppose what I'm saying is I see the appeal. Okay, this is the dock I was comparing to this one, where it's like this shape of the building with this long pier. That pier is solid. I cannot place that through these. And so this version of the building is just substantially worse, which is interesting. I mean, it's kind of like the 3 versus the 2 seaweed field. Like, the 3 is just strictly worse. You'd always rather have the 2. I guess there might be rare occasions where the 3 can detect and reach something the 2 can't, but I think even that, based on what I know about the shape variants, I don't think that happens, or if it does, it's very rare. Meanwhile, this is like, man, I wish this was the short version. Yeah, I mean, these being able to clip over is going to give me a decent placement. Obviously, it's worse than if I just placed it right here or something, but I don't want to give up this house cluster, which is going to lead to a really good circus. Maybe this is the next evolution of my gameplay. Like, maybe this is getting me score out of structures like saunas, like circuses, like lighthouses, that I previously was just kind of leaving on the table. It's humbling, but I think it is correct. The more I play this island, the more I see the value in placing a high priority on cliffhouses. It's like, you can't really disagree with these scores. Like, again, I obviously some of my mansions are worth quite a bit more because of things like the temple, but not all of them. There are bad mansions and houses, and I haven't really run into bad cliff houses on this island yet. Like, from the first one, because I'd committed all these buildings, I think it was 18 points, and they've just been trailing upwards since then. Okay, we're going to go ahead and commit this so I don't mess it up. Speaking of, since I already have like 60s, 80s, yep. I guess I actually definitely should have placed this before the houses. Looks like it's too high up to tag them anyway, but would have been good etiquette. That does seem better. Okay. Yeah, this should have been placed before those houses. That's just a sequencing error. That was my Discord, not yours. Nothing we can do but play on. Can't go back and gather more cliff houses in my previous play, but I can use them going forward. Now, I'm not wrong about the Tetris shape. The Tetris-shaped house is basically the worst. Actually, do I need to do this so I can move on? Nah. Do this, and then... Yeah, and I guess, you know, I have these 3 circuses already, so I'm thinking about how I'm going to fit multiple up here. But I might want to go ahead and take some of this space just for houses. And I can kind of place under here. Maybe if I do the classic zoom out. 17? I can do better than that. Yeah? Alright, these scores are getting up there. I don't know if I place a 13. 13 is starting to feel low enough that I can just skip it. Speaking of. Alright, back to huts. When in doubt, hut it out. Right, and I have successfully completed the island. Obviously I will keep playing, but All right, I have to take Sealed Boon. As you can see, I'm doing a thing with them. Just ignore that. Don't worry about it. Okay, so down here does not join the field network. Here does. Like, even though there's a little lip there, it's not significant enough. But down here, the gap between is large enough that I'm no longer part of the team. Let me actually do this correctly. Sorry. That I place that one, and then I place the mill, and then my next jump can tag the mill. So that's 5 extra points because I did it that way instead of just placing that one. 5 points so far. It'll add up to a little bit more over time as well. Yeah, so see, this shape can go in all these spots in here that I was previously struggling with the larger shape for. It makes a difference. Not an island that I've created a lot of good warehouse opportunities on, but that's fine. I don't need to worry too much about seaweed because I am still yet to get a 4th farm. Like, I've just been holding these fields this entire time and haven't hit the payoff yet. Hopefully one of these days. Okay, I mean that that went really well. That's exactly what I was waiting for. You love to see it. And I could wait for more verdure, but I think for the moment I'm just going to go ahead and blossom. So all these parks, were they a mistake? Great question. Difficult question, but great question. So each one of these parks would have gotten an extra point per tree. So call that like 6 to 10 points maybe, I don't know. I don't think they were mistakes because you gotta place building to make building. And in this case, I approve of my decisions to hold the various things I did at various times. Maybe I should have transitioned to houses sooner. Maybe I could have made that shift and retained a few more parks, but it feels speculative. And you really can't judge your decisions through the lens of hindsight. We love a 35? If that's the best I get, I can't be upset with it. Various 23s. So perfect score is a 49. Might be impossible, but would be. But I could do this. And then this. Still get some value over here, and if I end up needing to tavern, it's 39 points just by itself, just on the merit of these. Have I also only gotten one sawmill this entire time? So you will get fewer of the medium rarity buildings. Like, it makes sense, but because I'm filling up my building unlocks with cliff houses, you're going to see fewer warehouses, fewer sawmills and lumberjacks, fewer industry in general. Obviously, like, fewer houses, fewer mansions, fewer parks, fewer of the big ticket buildings as well, but I wonder how much it impacts your score to just get like one fewer seaweed farm on average per island. So I bet it's more significant than it initially seems. I mean, it's a wild play. I don't hate it, but I don't think I'm going to do it. I think... Yeah, I mean, I'm looking in particular at the parks, because I think there might be a couple other parks I can place. Let me figure out where my 2 hermitages now are going to be. Because this isn't green, right? No. Okay. So currently we got 1 hermitage somewhere in here, and the differences between these are not monumental point shifts. There's also a 45 down there, or hopefully... unplaceable 100 right there. Okay. Well, green wall platform would go hard, but in lieu of that, let me just do a little of that. They're all just so dense. And I could do stuff like this, which is fine. Talked myself into it. Not that there was much resistance, but... Okay. Now the question is 264 worth a score multiplier? Now I still have a duplicate and a demolish, right? 2 demolishes. So... might be demolishing a circus this run. I don't think I score multiplier this. Because I think... wow, it's just more points than the temple. Okay. Yeah, flat islands, bad temples. This should have been on a plateau, not on a terrace, but... I did not quite have that level of discipline, I suppose. And my final boon. I mean... yeah, okay, we gotta. Okay, cool. Lots of buildings, but we are down to 4 building draw. I'm gonna do some initial brain simplification just to save myself the mental burden. I can probably do Mountain Shrine. What I'm looking at now is that I actually don't think there's enough room for my parks even killing all the trees, which means that I'm going to have to place some lower value parks in weird places, and I'm wondering if I'm gonna miss out on getting those points on the Mountain Shrine. I don't think I need to Mountain Shrine yet. I guess let's just do the cliff houses and then the lumber, and yeah, we'll place through some of these small stacks. 27 on the front side. Ooh, placing on this cliff is kind of sick, actually. 24 on the front side. Bunch of 36s. I like those fine. Oh, I wonder if my really good scores have dried up. Nah, I mean, there's still a 25. Okay. We're still in business. Yeah, I was thinking that would be possible, to leave enough room for this big guy as well. Yeah, and these like 17s are displaying the same kind of point fall off that I experience from houses and mansions, where at some point you've taken up the good spots and you just kind of have to play into the mediocre spots, which are not like bad, they're just, you know, a 28 isn't quite the same as a 35. Speaking of 35s. Did get punished with a verger, but I had to unlock buildings, you know. You gotta play something. I mean, looking at this, there's not a ton of space that I'm convinced will be buildable. Something like a 24 or 25 sounds fine to me, though. Could just go fish. Could try and boost lumber. And I got some lumber to place, so I guess why not? This might not be an optimal play, but it's what appeals to me in this moment. And again, I'm not trying to get like absolute maximum score. I'm just trying to give a fair attempt to cliff houses. See how this run impacts my thoughts towards them. Whether or not I am a converter to cliff housedom. Or I guess not a converter, a convert. If I have been converted. Maybe I'll start evangelizing for the cliff house, but I don't like it that much. Dang. Yeah, this happens. Areas fill up. I did not reserve a space, so no space appeared. No space exists. No. Back-to-back Tetris, that's rough. I think I placed this in such a way to not allow even this small house up in there, which is okay. Not a big deal. Just observing. Just trying to reduce my building variance as well. So I think we're nearing that point. feeling quite indecisive about what direction to continue playing. Yeah, I'm looking for trees along this coastline, but it looks like all my trees are inland, so I'm not going to be able to get a very good water platform. I know I just kind of went silent there as I was pondering, but hopefully, based on my hunting behavior, there was at least some hint what I was doing. But I mean, I'm just like not thrilled to get like a 17. Maybe I hold it in the hopes that I can accomplish something more creating buildable space later. I mean, even just like, I can't place it in here, but even just being able to build in there would make a difference. 10 points is not worth it though. Okay, let's... Getting 3 buildings per draw now. I guess let's just place some mediocre houses. And I can place them over here. They don't all have to be in the cliff zone. Not when I can get 25s and whatnot. Like, we take those. There's no minerals on this island, so I don't need to worry as much about conflict. Class conflict, I suppose. The mansions and the houses. Yeah, another 40-point hut. I mean, yes, they've taken up spots that I would have maybe now wanted to spend on lumber, but it is... Was that 44 points before it jumped? It's a lot of points. Oh, these are good cliff houses. Not as much over here, but it's to be expected. Okay, seems like 16 is the best I can hope for on that side. Obviously 20 is better. Kind of a random 19, but I'll take it. Alright, let's do it. I saw a 216 at one point, so I'm going to hunt around a little bit to find that, but if I have to take the 14 or 15, I'll do that instead. Yeah, 16. Great. Finally, a seaweed farm. Little late to the party, and I did block in my existing seaweed because I had given up on it, but I can probably do something like that to get a couple multi-tags. It's really not going to be very many, but maybe 2. So I've been holding these fields a long time for them not to pay off. Like, I could have placed these for similar scores way back at the start of the island. I guess the difference would be in the fortune teller then, but... Okay, well now that the mountain shrine is placed, I think I do start killing trees. And let's figure out the monument first. Okay, 122 up here. Looks good to me. Second monument will go wherever it can fit. I'm not going to be picky about it. And I did block placement up here with that cliff house. Interesting. I guess I hadn't thought a ton about how those behaviors would overlap. Okay. Just gonna keep parking. I got a bunch of them to place. The scores are pretty good. They're not too computationally difficult to determine where I want to go. Just a little bit. It looks like I am gonna just about fully utilize the space available to me here, which tracks. A couple of much worse ones down here, so I gotta place them somewhere. Okay, and one final pre-monument park. Is there a decent location for this park? So far, one isn't showing up. Feels like there has to be some little spot I can place this. It's like an 8-point swing if I can find it, but that's too far away. Can't build up here. All right, close enough. And while those points are trickling, I think this is a pretty safe placement as well. The sound of the points trickling in never gets old, does it? All right, 2 markets, 1 hermitage, 2 taverns, 10 houses still, somehow. Kind of surprised that I could place that as far in as I could. I don't mind a 14, not at this stage. There might be a few comparable scores elsewhere, but again, at this stage of the game, 14-point mansion. This is what I was talking about earlier with the cliff houses, where once you get down to your last few mansions and houses, you're kind of out of good spots. So you frequently have to take mediocre or verging on bad placements. Just kind of the nature of the beast. I could alternately... I could give up on 1 circus. I could just leave a circus-sized hole here and place 1, then demolish it, then place the other. And that would let me build houses up here. Versus right now, I'm leaving a second circus spot for right here, which is pretty good, 34. Okay. Oh, I guess I could have been comparing this for quite a while. So 431 from 259. Okay, so call it 180 points, 188. So 260, 269. Okay. So let's call it 180 points just to be fairly round about it. Versus going from 96 to way, way, way less. Okay. Cool. Strike against. I mean, the people talk about the circus being so good with cliff houses. It's still just a 100-point building, and I've invested just about as much as I can into houses in this region. Speaking of, it's probably almost temple time. That was a good score I was seeing over there. I'm in need of the points. Yeah, I mean, getting 2, almost 1 building per draw, it's probably just time to start slamming the big guys. So let's... No, I still need to just demolish it. Okay. So I need to place this stuff and then duplicate temple. That's the real play. I almost got carried away there at the excitement of high scores, but we can't allow that. Alright, so pretty good scores no matter where around here. So let's take a couple of 15s. Let's place this over here in an area that docks might care about, but if not, a warehouse might, and if not, a lumberjack might. Placing the fish kite early is kind of tough, but I guess instead we can... So these are my 2 markets. This is my temple. So this space is all buildable. Might just go back to houses briefly. Trying to figure out the efficient way to wrap an island up is always interesting to me because it varies so much. Like looking at where you still have high scoring placements, like kind of where you currently have investments. That did not jump. Still allows a second placement, so we'll take it. But yeah, judging where you still have pretty good placements, like where you've invested and can redeem value for a while, it's important. Okay. I'll take the mediocre score on that ledge. Okay, gonna save the park. Getting through the fish kite is difficult, but it's like a significant point difference to have placed other stuff. I am concerned about a range increased temple detecting all these markets though. So let's double check that. But I mean honestly, even a regular temple is close to that. So yeah. Okay. One problem at a time. I guess let's get some really good taverns. That can be problem number 1 solved. What building to place in this instant? Tavern. And they are really better because of the cliff houses, that's for sure. Could back it in for 49, or I mean 54 is quite nice. Harbors get good scores, that's for sure. Fun building to play with. Okay, so this is all bad. I wish I had a neighborly for this, but I also don't even have like a location to place it. could wall platform to put it out here, which would mean holding it and hoping another wall platform, but I can hold it for a bit. I guess I did take that spot, which might have been better left. Yeah, that's on me. That was a bad... Oh wait, no, I think I couldn't actually fit there. I think I tried this and it clips in too much, so I think this is my real second best Hermitage. And then looking to beat a 58. I think that's... yeah. Unfortunately, that's a little too squeezed, so can't allow it. I'm not sure if I placed any of these cliff houses in such a way that you can put buildings on top of them. Lots to consider still, even this late in the island. Stuff in here is not solid in the way that I would expect it to be, but I'm kind of getting used to that with the docks. Might just be wall time. I've been saving up my walls so I can do the silly wall chain. There's probably a couple good legitimate walls over here, but the silly wall chain is so high scoring it's hard to beat. Hard to do other kinds of walls. It'll boost the temples. Okay, and then we'll do like that. And then we'll start doing the silly chain. If you haven't seen this before, this is a wall behavior that allows you to get 42 points from every wall but the first one, where you just sort of build out. And you need terrain that's relatively flat. I'm actually surprised that worked, given how bumpy this is, but not super surprised. Hello? Why doesn't that fit? I truly do not understand, but that's okay. Again, nowhere to really build over here. Various 16s that I don't hate, but they're also not, like, thrilling. A 20 because it touches the guild hall is fine. Hey! And it's not green. Okay, that's fine. Would have been cool were it to be green, but can't get everything. So, could place this here, I guess. Am I doing a circus? Am I doing a monument? Out here I can get a 100-point monument. That seems good. That seems like that's probably better than my third best circus. Yeah, and in light of that, I should really place these. Still perturbed I haven't found a good line part place, and 9 is not it for me, but... Yeah, it could just be another strange little spot down around this stuff that could be optimal. They're not benefiting this monument, but that's fine. Okay. Now we start with the towers. Increase area, duplicate, score multiplier, demolish. Okay, okay. Not totally sure where my best remaining house is. There's a bunch of like kind of mediocre houses. I know that I've been quiet wrapping up this island, but I'm just thinking and also a little sleepy. I find this music very calming, and it's gently raining here, which is not helping. So, I mean, I guess like a 16 or whatever is fine. It's again, I'm not really trying to score max this island, so I'm not going to hunt forever. I'm just trying to build my intuition about where good placements tend to be. Like, I'm kind of surprised this isn't a better area, but I suppose the only points would be originating from the plateaus. It's kind of offset by the wall. Obviously, this would be a good score, but takes out my good circus placements. Speaking of, not bad. Just want a 70 something that the tower or that the temple will touch. So 74 looks good. I should probably do that one first and then see if I can... It's a narrow thing, so I can probably place... more like that? Yeah, okay. And unfortunately, it looks like I should have saved a neighborly for a tower, but I guess it's only 30 points. That is still my best tower and somehow doesn't tag anything else. And then I see 105. Punished for playing a couple of these that I did not need to. Not like a huge deal, obviously, but lost a few points on that. Versus I could do an 18. Nah. We'll score those points, and then... so... Can I place the fish kite and then duplicate the temple and then undo the fish kite? I guess not, because I would undo the duplicate if I was able to undo. So the markets. I guess both of them would be detected, so that's not good. I also made some mistakes with placing these in here. They were not worth this minus 20. I hadn't fully concepted that I would be range increasing the temple, but in retrospect, pretty obvious. Hey, you can do it! Whoa, okay. So that's a duplicate smuggle. As long as you have one building to the right of the building you want to duplicate, you can smuggle through it. Alright, so... I wonder... wonder if there are other boons you can use an interaction like that with. Well... Score multiplier temple is 462. versus increase area is 470, I saw. So increase area should go second. We will score multiplier a 400 and 62-point temple. All right, almost another building. I can save this cliff house to be the last building I place, which will be appropriate. Now I do an increase area temple. I think there was like a 470, right? I saw it there for a second. Yep, 471. Notice we're still coming out of the negative, so this isn't moving, but pretty soon it'll start. As we hit our previous score, and then it starts tracking. Wow, 3 cliff houses to round out the island. I mean, given that this was the cliff house island, it makes sense. All right, so I probably should have tried the score increase over here again just to see it, but obviously it would have been less than the temple. So this does give me a 120-point circus at the cost of a third of a wall platform, I guess. So I think most optimal is to place that one, then demolish it, then place this one in the same spot, and then place the lower scoring back one. I think even with the negatives for having the second one down, it's still better to take the high score one twice. And these would be better placed before those, but I want to place my cliff houses last because this is Cliff House Island. And again, I'm not really trying to score max. I'm experimenting. So we like a 130. All right, and get a couple more 20-ish point cliff houses. Now let's find the best ones we can, but not spend forever on it. Oh, this little guy. There's an achievement for placing a bunch of cliff houses in a really tight cluster, and I did not get it. This is not enough, not a small enough area. Something. You probably need to place them around a pillar to get the achievement. Oh, a 47 is my new highest score cliff house. I mean, a 47-point common building in general is quite good. Like, that's comparable to my best houses. Pre-additional score, of course, but that's... Additional score is difficult to really factor. And am I going to be, no matter where I go, a few points short of more unlocks? Is that what I'm sensing? Well, the 14's not close. Oh. All right. One more building. Possibly a cliff house. Nope. I'll just place this over here for score, I guess. All right, so this has been an island exploring the cliff house. So how did I focus on cliff houses? Well, first and foremost, I committed a lighthouse to an inland wall that was buildable on both sides. I built a city center over here, which did not take a penalty from the other early city center, which I think is important to note. Like, this is effectively 45 points higher because I did not absorb the negative, just for its personal value, not for contributed value elsewhere. Then I also placed some shamans that were pretty good. The statue, because of the negative 60, also was pretty effective, I would say, like a good statue. I think in the middle here would have made more points, but just by placement. But this earned so many points from buildings. Similarly, I committed some decent shamans over here, 2 city centers, one of which was, I think they were both neighbor lead, and one of which was bargained. Now, what did I lose? Well, I have this many cliff houses instead of other buildings. So that's fewer wall platforms, it's fewer plateaus, it's fewer fountains, it's fewer warehouses, it's fewer of the mega buildings, like, you know, no second mountain shrine, no additional, or no fourth sauna, I guess I should say. Not very many pyres, only 5 total, 1 natural temple, 2 natural markets, both of which from the original draw. But that sort of stuff, I think it's really difficult to mathematically measure because there's so much random variance involved. You know, you'll have some islands where you get 3 to 5 markets, some where you get 1 market, and there's only so much that we can plan around that kind of variation. I did score significantly better from the cliff houses through their entire placement run than I was expecting. So I have to shout out, like, they outperformed what I was expecting by a pretty good margin. They did not help the temple at all. And there are a few buildings, like the circus would have preferred more houses, but I would not have been able to get as many. There was no metal mine on this island, so being a few behind on mansions, it did not matter at all. And also the jeweler is not a building that I'm super focused on. You know, I need to think about this, obviously, but my number 1 takeaway, I think, is that I was wrong. I think cliff houses are, not only are they better than I thought they were, but I think they might actually be good. Like, I think unlocking cliff houses, getting them in your pool. The downside to cliff houses is that they don't start off good. Like, your first 2 to 3 cliff houses are going to be worse than your first 2 to 3 mansions. But pretty quickly you end up placing tons of like 15 to 30 point mansions. Like, your really good mansions and houses are 30 points. And I was getting 25 to 35 cliff houses for a long time. So, I mean, again, like, maybe I'll do some mathematical analysis on this footage. I don't know if I have that in me, but we'll see. But my gut instinct says that at least late in the game, cliff houses are good. I would rather have them in my unlock pool than not. In the early game, we were getting so many fewer buildings across the island and space isn't as much of a concern. Maybe that equation changes, but I mean, this island went pretty well and I was not playing that hard. Like, I tried, but it was not a super dedicated, super slow, effortful, think carefully about everything sort of play. I'm humbled. I'm thoughtful. I need to examine this a little further, but overall, I am impressed by cliff houses. They surprised me. And honestly, that's a great feeling. I like to be surprised and delighted by the new scoring strategies. So, Ultimately, I think I will be taking cliffhouses more readily in the future. I think I will unlock them in my next high score run. I'll do some more mathematical analysis to see where else I could have missed out on points, but overall, I think they pulled their weight and then some. I think they were maybe a little bit worse than houses, but better than mansions, or maybe comparable to. Like they are a significantly better building than I previously thought. They just require a little different tactics and more utilization. And thank you everyone who has been commenting on my videos and guided me towards these tactics. Things like using both sides of a wall, things like really focusing on the circus value that they provide. I think in conjunction with adding score potential to saunas and lighthouses, I think there's a powerful interaction here. Maybe you want to take the sauna prior to getting cliff houses, but even like, on this island we saw the sauna did not contribute a ton of value to them. And I'm still learning how to best use saunas in and among the city as well. So lots to learn, still lots of improvements to make, but I think this island showcased that there is potential in cliff houses, that they are a good building to add to your stock. And I retract all of my previous slanderous comments. I'm sorry to the cliff house lobby. Thank you all for watching. Hope you had a good time. I'll see you here next time. Obviously, I need to show you the between island points, don't worry. .135% score loops is not remarkable. It's fine.